There was a moment in my life that completely changed everything. It happened during an intervention for my ex-husband. I had reached my breaking point. We'd been through so much over the years, but when I tried to talk to him about how we could turn things around, it felt like he couldn't hear me. Every time I suggested a future where we could be happy, he had a counter argument. Things aren't that bad, he said. Things are okay. But here's the thing. They weren't okay. The blackouts, the drinking, the verbal and physical abuse, the infidelity, the constant loneliness despite being in a marriage, that wasn't okay. Yet he couldn't see it. And that was the moment I realized I had to make a choice. Stay and keep living in a place where I was losing myself, or leave and fight for the happiness I deserved. I decided to leave. I walked out, and I never looked back. Now, leaving wasn't easy. It wasn't like one day I just snapped my fingers and found the courage. I had spent years trying to convince myself that if I worked harder, if I loved him enough, things would change. I believed that love could fix everything. But what I didn't understand at the time was this. Love isn't enough if you're the only one giving it. For 11 years, I stayed in a relationship that was tearing me apart, hoping that one day it would get better. But I had to realize I was the one who needed to change. I had to take care of myself first. I had to love myself before I could truly ever love anyone else. It took years of healing, years of relearning what it meant to be happy, to be whole. It wasn't something that happened overnight, and it wasn't easy. I had to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I had to look at myself in the mirror and accept that I was worthy of more, worthy of respect, worthy of love that didn't come with conditions or pain. And that's when things started to shift. I learned that the only person I needed to please was myself. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I stopped trying to make everyone else happy at my own expense. I stopped looking for validation from others and started finding it within myself. I realized that I didn't need someone else to make me feel whole. I was already whole. I just had to believe it. But here's the thing. I didn't just wake up one day and feel better. It was a process, a long one. I went to therapy. I surrounded myself with people who lifted me up, not brought me down. I took up running, something I had never thought I could do. I went from running 0 miles a week to running a half marathon. It made me feel strong. It made me feel powerful. And bit by bit, I started believing in myself again. But most importantly, I learned that I deserved better. I spent so many years telling myself that if I had just tried harder, if I had just loved harder, things would be different. But that's not how it works. You can't change someone who doesn't want to change, and you can't pour from an empty cup. I had spent so long trying to fill his cup, and in doing so, I emptied mine. If you're in a situation like I was, I want you to know this. It's never too late to reset. I know it's scary, and I know the idea of leaving might feel overwhelming, but I promise you, there's life on the other side of that fear. It won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. You have to be willing to let go of what's not serving you, even if it feels comfortable, even if it feels familiar. And when you do, you'll find the life that was waiting for you. It's more beautiful than you could have ever imagined. It's not selfish to want happiness. It's not selfish to choose yourself. You deserve a life that makes you feel alive. You deserve to be loved and treated with respect. You deserve peace, joy, and fulfillment. And you know what? Once I learned to love myself, I started to attract the kind of love that reflected that self-worth. I found a partner who treats me with kindness and care. I found friends who support me and cheer me on. I found a new sense of family in the people who truly understood me, and I rediscovered the love of my family when I opened up to them about everything I'd been through. The people who matter will understand your journey. The people who matter will stand by you even when it's hard. And the people who don't matter, well, you'll learn to let them go. And when you do, you'll feel lighter, freer. So, if you're in a place right now where you feel stuck, if you're questioning whether you deserve more, just know that you do. You do. You have the power to reset your life, to reset your story, and just like I did, you can walk away from what's hurting you and start a new chapter of happiness, peace, and self-love. That's how I reset my story.